we're getting that oil.
That's right, brother. We gotta be rich.
Nothing will go wrong, of course.
I would be careful about saying that. You might just jinx us.
Jinx? I don't believe in that kind of fairy tales. They're all full of shit.
After 4 years, military base finally got the buff it deserved. This tower was usable for a while, but as other towers get buffed, it practically makes this tower useless when you have a much better tower. So at that point, nobody uses it, except for clueless new players, of course. But hey, now we have a tower that's both useful and fun to use. That's all that matters really, which is why I made this video to explain the brand new The newly buffed military base significantly gave it more DPS, especially in level 4 and 5. Before it was reworked, both levels were very underwhelming due to their cost ineffectiveness. The performance of the tower simply isn't worth the price, but the newly buffed military base now makes it actually good for its price. We will discuss the stats of both levels later on in this video, cause as always, save the best for later. Military base still has the same placement limit as before, which is 5, but with the changes to the stats that it gets, it's nonetheless pretty fun to use. The level 4 and 5 used to explode after that, but it's no longer the case anymore. Quick note before you guys get mad at me in the comments, what I mean by not explode after that is that the tanks don't do extra damage after it dies, but it still does have visual effects of it exploding, so sorry for the misunderstanding. So there's no damage after it dies. Also, this tower is so much better that you can solo easy or molten with just military base. But I don't know about Fallen mode, maybe you could do that also. Nah, just kidding, you probably can. Or can you? Okay, let's just start talking about the new improved stats, starting with level 0, costing the same as before, being 400 bucks. Humvees now spawn with 30 HP instead of 25 HP. So basically, 5 more HP compared to before. It still has the same spawn duration of 60 seconds just like before. This may not sound much, but in the early game, it could be more significant than you think. However, I wouldn't really use military base as the only early game defense you have. That would just make it really slow and painful to do. I do not recommend spamming this level because the next 2 levels are way more cost effective for measly 600 cash. Quite insane. The next level, which is level 1, still costing the same, which is 200 bucks. Military base spawns Humvees even faster at 35 seconds. Before it was 40 seconds, but now it spawns 5 seconds much faster, which makes it a little better, and that's really all there is to it. It just makes it spawn faster, and absolutely nothing else. But again, don't spam this level, because level 2 is where this tower is good, with double the HP for only 400 bucks, which makes it practically the same as before, just with 5 seconds less cooldown, which is a little buff from level 2 before it got reworked, but it's still a welcome change anyways. The meta has always been spam level 2 military base back in my days, but it's not like that anymore. The play style is now much different, with the later level being much better. If you're still using this for early game, spamming level 2 can be a valid option. If your teammate somehow doesn't have a good early game defense, which is very disappointing. Now, level 3 costs 1.6k bucks, which is 400 cash more compared to before. This level gives Humvee a gun that does 3 damage every 2 seconds with 30 range. And also, the Humvee is more sturdy with 90 HP. Before, its HP stays at 60 seconds while still doing the same DPS and range. And it has hidden detection. But now, while it does have more HP on Humvee, it no longer has hidden detection. But I don't really see the point in doing that. Sure, it can indirectly hit hiddens, but it's one of the reasons why this level is underwhelming. So you should really use other towers to deal with them. But whatever, cause the next level is very awesome. Level 4 still has that usual tanks, but now it has 500 HP, it does 10 damage every 0.2 seconds instead of just 6 damage. And has a 50 cannon damage for 8k, which is 2k bucks more than before. But not just that, it can summon an airstrike. Boom! And just like that, you should really rush for this level because it's crazy cost effective if you can utilize the airstrike correctly. The airstrike on this level does 75 damage per bombs, and because there's 6 of them, then 75 times 6 is 450 damage in totals to enemies. Yep, that much damage. Although it does have a 45 seconds cooldown, so you have to use it wisely. It's okay though, since there's no global cooldown, so you can basically micro this tower. It's okay though, since there's no global cooldown, you can basically micro this tower ability. Better yet, do it with friends, so it's even crazier. Finally, level 5 military base still has that railgun tank, but with 1500 HP instead of 1200. It does 24 damage every 0.15 seconds and 80k cannon damage for 24k bucks, which is a decrease from 26k bucks before the rework. Railgun tank also gains hidden detection, which wouldn't be useful except for like soul or soul bosses in hardcore because you got it so late. Airstrike now does 125 damage, so now 125 times 6 is 750 damage each airstrike ability. That's powerful, but I recommend getting 5 level 4 military base first before getting all of them to level 5. It's more cost effective that way since you can launch more airstrike. 450 damage is already decent enough, so when you have enough money, you can transition to level 5 so you get more power for late game. So that's military base. However, there's still something that the developer could improve because this tower could have been much better. One thing is that the early game capability is only slightly better, but not good enough to be an early game tower that can compete with other early game towers. So it doesn't really make sense to give it a pricing like an early game towers. So the solution to this is either making it have a better stats on level 0 to 3 or just make them more mid-game oriented with a higher price. That way it can be utilized better. But hey, it's still fun to use, so I accept it. Who doesn't love a tower that goes boom boom? Anyways, thanks for watching my videos about my take on military base. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to support me by clicking that red subscribe button and also like this video as well. And I'll see you all in the next.